Space exploration has been the goal of scientists worldwide since the likes of Neil Armstrong, Yuri Gagarin, and the rest were launched into the black abyss called space. Following that, several unmanned space missions have been launched to discover the mysteries of space and its wonders. Despite having been there, scientists are still yet to fully decipher all the moon's mysteries, and they are still awed and fascinated with every new discovery about the Earth's satellite. Not just America. Other nations have made various attempts to explore the moon and deep space in general. Russia has not ceased its attempts to probe space in a bid to further understand its mysteries, wonders, and rules. This had prompted the Soviets to launch an unmanned space mission, Luna 17, which was carrying the Lunar Rover, Lunokhod 1, to better explore the moon. While they had failed at their previous attempts, they were not discouraged and had made another successful attempt. Unfortunately, after working for some time, the Lunokhod 1 had stopped sending signals back to Earth due to a natural phenomenon that had happened on the moon. The Lunar Rover, Lunokhod 1, went dormant for 40 years, and every attempt to re-establish contact with it and get it to send signals and images back to Earth had failed. After making repeated attempts, the Soviets decided to give up and consider the Lunokhod 1 as gone, since even their lunar probes had failed to pinpoint its exact location. This went on for 40 years, until American scientists discovered it. American scientists hit the Soviet lunar rover with a laser beam. Lunokhod 1 had stood motionless on the moon for almost 40 years. Therefore, the high intensity of the response ray caught by the researchers turned out to be all the more surprising. Currently, experts are attempting to use the awakened lunar rover for different scientific experiments and even to test the theory of relativity. Before explaining the connection between the rover created in 1970 and Albert Einstein, let us briefly go back and recall the events that preceded the news described. After the initial success of Sputnik and the famous Gagarin's Let's Go, the USSR had been wholeheartedly preparing to take the next step, the exploration of the moon. Lunokhod 1 was the world's first automatic self-propelled laboratory fully controlled from Earth. Space Station 17, which had the Lunokhod 1 aboard, was launched on November 10, 1970, from the Back Indoor Cosmodrome. This was the second attempt to launch the Lunokhod 1. The first attempt was carried out in February 1969. The carrier rocket of the Proton series that was carrying Lunokhod 1 was also launched from the Back Indoor Cosmodrome. However, 52 seconds into the flight, the rocket exploded due to an emergency shutdown of the first stage engines. So, Luna 17 had made a soft landing in the coastal regions of the western part of the Sea of Rains. The lunar sea formed due to the flooding of a large impact crater with lava. On November 17, 1970, Lunokhod 1 moved down the ladder from the landing platform to the lunar soil. This marked a new era in space exploration. Lunokhod 1 became the first rover in the world to successfully operate on the surface of another space body. The station operated for 11 lunar days and about 10 Earth months from November 17, 1970 to September 14, 1971. In 116 motion sessions, Lunokhod 1 traveled a distance of 10,540 meters, making it possible to examine the lunar surface to the tiniest detail for over 80,000 square meters. During this time, over 200 high-resolution panoramas and about 20,000 TV images were transmitted to Earth. Additionally, stereoscopic images of the most astounding terrain features were obtained as well, which allowed for a detailed study of its structure. It was very cumbersome to control the rover because of the almost 5-second signal delay. The signal takes a bit over 2 seconds to travel from Earth to the moon and back. The operator could navigate in real time, and he had to predict the location of the lunar rover. Communication sessions were held daily for 8 to 10 hours during periods of radio visibility over the Crimea. The lunar rover was a great piece of equipment. It had worked 3 times longer than it was supposed to. On September 14, 1971, the scientists received a radio signal from the lunar rover, and soon after that, night fell on the moon. The lunar night is a period characterized by the complete absence of direct sunlight on the moon, and the duration is half a synodic month, which is about 354 hours, which is about 14 Earth days and 18 hours. After that, the contact with the Lunokhod was never reestablished. Experts believed that the Lunokhod had failed due to the extreme conditions of the lunar night. Because of the absence of atmosphere on the moon, the lunar night duration was much colder than the one on Earth. During the lunar night, the upper layer of the lunar soil freezes to negative 170 degrees Celsius at night. When the Lunar Rover was in the shade, the polonium-210 radioisotope heater kept it at operating temperature. The stock of this element had dried up, so the Lunar Rover simply froze. The location of the Lunar Rover was unknown, so it was virtually impossible to find it on the moon. The only hope of finding it was by using lunar probes, which orbited the Earth's satellite. Sadly, the cameras of the lunar probes were not sensitive enough to detect the rover. Attempts to re-establish contact were finally stopped on October 4, 1971, and the completion of the program was announced. Fast forward to 40 years later, everything changed. In 2009, the American satellite Lunar Renaissance Orbiter discovered Lunokhod 1. Experts noticed a suspicious light object in one of the images transmitted by the probe. The tracks moving away from the object helped determine that the speck captured by the camera was the unmanned space mission Luna 17. Only Lunokhod 1 could have left those tracks, and after tracing them, scientists discovered the rover. On April 22, 2011, the day of the 50th anniversary of Yuri Gagarin's launch into space, the Americans directed laser pulses at it from the telescope of the observatory in New Mexico. The laser retroreflector on Lunokhod 1 intercepted the pulses and sent a clear signal back to Earth. This begs the question, why did the Americans do this? And how was Lunokhod 1 related to Einstein's theory of relativity? In fact, the Lunar Rover itself was of no interest to the American scientists. The only reason they kept searching for Lunokhod 1 for so many years was the corner reflector installed on it. It was a device that reflected the radiation hitting it in the direction strictly opposite the incidence direction. Using the corner reflector, it is possible to calculate the distance between our planet and its satellite using the laser ranging method. According to Tom Murphy, the researcher who managed to find the lost Lunokhod 1, he had received 2,000 photons from his reflector, while he only got 750 from others. Only those reflectors still in use are usually found in this condition. Corner reflectors are an excellent tool for determining the orbit. Having measured many distances from the Earth to the Moon, scientists can accurately deduce the satellite's trajectory. The liquid insides of the Moon affect the nature of the satellite's movement. To understand this theory, try rotating a boiled chicken egg and a raw chicken egg on the table, and you will immediately see how this influence manifests itself. Therefore, to get an accurate picture, it is necessary to determine exactly how the Moon is deflected due to the characteristics of its core. In the near future, researchers intend to begin experiments to test the validity of Einstein's claims. Therefore, the story of Lunokhod 1 was interrupted for several decades and received an unexpected continuation after 40 years of dormancy. Most people might still wonder why the American scientists wanted to use the Soviet Lunar Rover. Still, one should not forget that science is an international business and endeavor, and it is not the business of one nation to finish or complete. Therefore, arguing about the national priorities of scientific works is useless, to say the least. Do you think it was right for the American scientists to search for and use the Soviet Lunar Rover to conduct their own experiments? True be said, space exploration is a collective effort, and not the job of a single nation or country. So American scientists should not be faulted or attacked for using a lunar rover belonging to another nation to conduct their experiments. On the other hand, it is joyful to know that scientists have made improvements and advancements in exploring the Earth's satellite and deep space. Future scientists hope to probe other parts of deep space and conduct experiments on other planets as well in a bid to gather more knowledge.